Greetings, life management students, and here we are at module number 8. We're going to talk about academic and career preparation or planning. So this is an important one because I think most of you are in this class to, learn some life balance, learn some important techniques and tips and skills that you can gain to, navigate life, to go through life a little better, healthier. Here we're going to talk about some academic and career reasons that you're here, right? Whether it's to succeed in school or whether it's to flourish in the workplace. So let's talk about this. Right, first of all, when we talk about these two things, we talk about school and we talk about work. Something to really consider that's important is what are your interests? What are your values and what skills do you bring to the table? So what do you like doing? When we talk about values, we're talking about what you consider to be really important. As I said, all of us have a value system. We were raised with it. It's something that we have, it really determines our decision making when we think about what we're going to do. If you have a friend that is going to cheat on an exam and they encourage you to cheat on an exam, do you do it? Or does your value system, which really values integrity and honesty, say, no way, I'll just take a poor grade, but if I didn't do the work, I'm not cheating, right? Other people don't have a problem with cheating. It's not really part of their value system. And so that's what we mean when we talk about your value system here. So you need to explore that. You need to know that. Do you really care about people acknowledging you? Do you care about being independent in your work? Do you care about relationships, having good, healthy relationships? Do you care about support, working conditions, or do you just care that you make a lot of money and you don't care where you work? Right? What is important to you in your value system? Understanding your work values can help you determine what we call your vocational identity. Vocational identity. So your understanding of career goals, interest, and strength. That's your vocational identity. We all have within us different types of identities, whether it's my personality, my emotional identity, but your vocational identity has to do with what is your career? Again, I really think it's unfortunate that we expect that at 18 years old, somebody knows what they want to do for the next 60 years of their life. Because I think that it's just not practical. I think in order to know your vocational identity, you have to know you. You have to know more about you, and I hope you're learning more about you in this class. But you need to learn more about you, right? So identifying your career, you might find it really satisfying, definitely, and there's trade-offs to that. If it really excites you to be in the medical field, to heal people, to be a nurse or a doctor or something in that field. You love that feeling. However, there's a trade-off because you're going to have to go to school. You're going to have to put some time and work into getting that certificate or degree at whatever level you want to be at, right? And so that's what we're saying when we talk about trade-offs here. But it's so important, and I hope you really take this to heart, because I think there's nothing worse than somebody who is in a job that they're unhappy in, that they don't like, that isn't interesting to you. Work should be fun. My work is fun. I love what I do, right? I want yours to be also, right? So again, it's exploring your skills. And I know I get lots of students who tell me, I have no skills. That's not true. They may be undiscovered yet, but you do. You really do. So when you understand your skills, you can search for a job that focuses on that. All right, are you a tucker? Right? That's a skill, believe it or not. There's tuckers, and those kind of tuckers are the teachers, they're the coaches, they're the leaders, right? Are you not a talker? You're an introvert, you don't really like being in front of people, you're not a talker, right? So you have other skills. Are you really good at, again, helping people, redirect people? Are you really good at paperwork? Are you really good with numbers? You're good at accounting. Right? What are you really good at? So there's some skills that are very specific, meaning only certain fields can do them, right? In order to be a plumber, you have to have skills to be a plumber. I cannot go fix my leaking sink. I can't. I don't have those skills. Other skills are what we call transferable. It means that we can use them across different fields. This is what most of us talk about when we say soft skills. The soft skills are your people skills. Do you work good in groups? Are you somebody who's open to learning? Right? These are transferable skills. Do you have organization and time management? Those are awesome skills you can use across multiple fields. They should be on your resumes, right? Time management, organizational skills. These are good skills. And again, when I hire people, when I was a manager and I had a department and I was hiring all the time, I was looking for these kind of skills because I wanted to know, can I teach you? And do you have the ability to work within my other group of people? Do you have that personality? That's a really important skill. You can also seek out work that will let you develop new skills and strengthen your current skills. So this is good. This is like if you found a job as an apprentice, or if you found a tile maker and he would teach you how to cut and work with tile and install tile in people's homes, right? That's awesome. So we can learn lots of skills on the job. Right. Hope and engagement promote academic success and career development. So this is what I'm talking about when we say growth mindset, positive thinking. Having this hope and being engaged help us to have that good GPA, grade point average, and it helps us to determine that vocational identity. So keep that in mind. So we want to do some things like develop an academic plan. So it's a tool used by students and their advisors to track your progress towards an outcome. Whether your outcome is to get a certificate in drug counseling, whether your outcome is to get a 2-year degree in business, right? Whatever your outcome is, you want to have a plan, right? You got to get there. And so your academic plan takes into account your school's requirements. So what does Delta College or another school require you to do in order to get that? It should reflect your goals. Again, I want it to be about you. So your academic plan. So if you really, let's be honest, some people just, they don't want to be in school forever. You like taking this college class, but maybe you don't see yourself going to a 4-year college. That's fine. Your academic goal might be a 2-year certificate or a 1-year certificate, whatever that is. And it will be unique to you. Don't let people talk you into things because we want to make sure you're motivated to accomplish this goal. All right, so here's the kind of the components to this academic planning. Choosing a degree or certificate, you have to figure out, a lot of students will say, I don't know what I want to do. And this is acceptable and I understand, but we have to figure out a pathway, even if it's just a general certificate, right? Choose a major. So at some point after a year of being in college or sometime, we're going to have to say, well, I think I like more working with people than I do working with machines or something like that. Choose your courses. What courses might be interesting to you, and then get help, whether that's from teachers, advisors, counselors, whoever it be. Right, so when we talk about choosing a degree or certificate, as you can see here, there's many different kinds we can choose from. So a certificate can be something you do in just 3 classes. It can be longer, but it's something that we, at Delta College, we have a couple different kinds of certificates. We have some certificates, where you can get a certificate in auto mechanics, I believe. You can get a certificate in heating and air conditioning, I believe. There's a certificate in mental health workers, being a drug and alcohol counselor, right? These are all things you can get certificates. And then we have the AA degree, which is a 2-year degree. So an AA degree, 2-year degree, and we have lots of different kinds there. Then we have what we call a bachelor's degree. And a bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree. So Delta College is a community college that offers certificates and 2-year degrees. We do not offer 4-year degrees. In order to get a 4-year degree, you would transfer to a 4-year college, which would be a state or university school. After a 4-year bachelor's degree, we get to graduate school, and that's what we call the master's degree. The master's degree can be anywhere from 1 year to 2 years. Typically includes either writing a thesis or doing a very big internship or exams. And this, again, would be beyond the 4 years. Then we get to the doctoral degree. The doctoral degree is another, after your bachelor's degree and your master's degree, it would be an additional 4 to 6 years, depending on what type of doctorate degree you are earning. And then we get to a professional degree. A professional degree would be like a law degree. So in order to be a lawyer, you have a 4-year degree, and then you usually go to law school for 3 years or so. Okay, that's a professional degree. Okay, so this is kind of a breakdown of what you would want to do. So what's a college major? You have to, at some point, you may, if you stay in school, will have to choose a major. And a college major is a collection of courses organized around a theme. So if your major is business, you're going to be taking some classes that have to do with business. If your major is healthcare, health sciences, you're going to take classes that have to do in the healthcare field. Right? If your major is history or English or communication, you like speaking, you know, all of those will have interesting classes, right? Consider your interest. Consider what are your career goals, right? So think about also your time frame. Are you somebody who says, I adamantly do not want to be in school for 8 years? Are you somebody who says, I'm a pretty good student, I can do it. I can do it because I really want to be a doctor, or I really want to do this. Choose your courses. So once you're in school, you're going to have to start choosing classes. And something I always tell students is, even though you may have to take these what we call general education classes, this is kind of math, science, you're going to have to take public speaking, some history classes, English classes. If you take those, always take something else that interests you. Make sure you take a fun class, even if it's art. If you really want to learn more about art, that's fine. Required courses are required to achieve your degree, and electives, these are fun. Electives are classes that you can choose based on your interest, right? So you can just kind of pick them, and that's where I say make sure you pick the fun ones that you might learn more about. All right, so talking about, you know, things that information you can get from your academic advisor or counselor. Investigate your school's approach to academic advising and find out a right fit for you. So you want to have a counselor or an advisor who's going to help you through this process, and we have them. Students can schedule appointments with counselors and advisors. We should be doing that at least once each semester. At least, because what they're going to do is they're going to help talk you through the process of, you know, so what do we want to do? What certificate or degree we want? Let's talk about what classes we can plan out. And they'll give you a plan of action. They'll give you a list of courses that you should stay on top of to do. Investigating career options. This is something I hope we can spend more time talking about in maybe some activities for this class. But I want you to learn to help yourself figure out what you want to do. So investigating career options, do online research. So figure out if money is important to you, what are some of the top paying jobs? Which of those would I like doing, right? Talk with experts. So if you really think, well, maybe I want to do economics. So you need to talk to somebody who's in economics to find out, what does your day look like? Tell me what an average day is. And they may tell you the average day is all about doing paperwork in an office in a cubicle, and they never leave. And you're thinking, maybe that's not for me. Maybe it is for me. Get experience. So anytime you can do an internship or just get some work in that area, that's going to help you too. We'll talk a little more about this. Talking with the experts, again, meeting with your counselors, conducting informational interviews. I love this. This is something I did when I was in school. So an informational interview is not a job interview. Most of us think of the word interview and we think of a job. It's not. It's a conversation with the person that works in the field you're interested in. The goal of the interview is to just gain information. I was really fortunate when I was in school because I made friends with my faculty and my instructors, and I knew a lot of people, and I would say, you know, this is the job I'm interested in. Do you know anybody? And they would say, oh, I know somebody who's working in that field. I'll call them and see if they'll talk to you. And they would really see me for 15 minutes or however long, and I would have a list of questions ready. And the first one being, walk me through your day. I want to know what it looks like to be in your job. Right? And so it was great information that helped me make decisions. It helped me to make decisions on what career I would enjoy doing. So here's an example of some of the questions you could ask in an informational interview. I think this is a really great way. Students are always just so intimidated thinking, oh, these people won't have time for me. I don't want to interrupt their busy schedule. Well, you know what? Interrupt their busy schedule. Do you care about your future? Then care enough about your future to do this. This is social capital, right? If you meet somebody in this job that you aspire to do that job someday, but when you meet them in that informational interview, you've made a connection with them now. You can say to them, could I call upon you or email you later for some follow-up questions? Or do you think that later I could ask you some direction on what program or what type of internship I should get, right? They can be that social capital for you. So these are really, really good things. I hope that you'll take advantage of these opportunities. All right, so service learning opportunities, right? So, this means kind of how do we get the practical experience in the job we want to do before we get that job. And you can see here there's a couple different ways we can do that. The most familiar way we think about is internships. Internships can be either paid or non-paid internships. It's an opportunity for you to get into that occupation and figure out what you want to do. So when I was finishing my bachelor's degree, I did an internship with an organization in my last year. My students that I teach up at Sac State, they're doing an internship in the companies that they want to work for also, right? So this is a great opportunity for you to, again, see what it's really like, because again, you don't want to end up somewhere that you're unhappy with. I'll let you look at these on your own, but these are really just kind of some planning milestones when we talk about the 2-year college and the 4-year college. There's some differences in the 2-year college and the 4-year college. And keep in mind that when we talk about education, the more education you have, typically, the more money you make. Education is valuable. Education for me and my family, education was our road out of poverty. It was our road. If my parents had not educated themselves, they came from such an impoverished family, we would still be low income. But they understood that the way to climb the ladder with the most success would be education. And I learned that from them. So I've done that also. Right? That's not for everyone. However, I need you to think about your investment in time and how much money you want to make. What plans do you have or family do you want to support in the future? So think about that. All right, so developing your career even while you're working. So when we think about you get your job, career planning doesn't end once you have a job, because for most of us, we want to do better. So if you're at a job making this much money, you want to go up that ladder so you can make more money and get more skills and get a better job and continue that process, right? So identify and seize the opportunity. Big one is to learn new skills at your office and your business, right? Advance your chosen profession. Try different careers that have different interests to you. You may define new academic goals. So if you're in your job, a lot of times I've had people come to school and they said, I was in a job, I went as far as I can go, and my boss basically said, you can't go any higher until you go back to school and get a business degree or get a degree in some field, right? And then they can go higher, and that's what they decided to do. They decided that they wanted to come back. They wanted to take classes at night or during the online so that they could work while they were doing that, right? So use skills to develop this term to make smart related decisions towards your future. I just think, again, this is a topic we could continue to talk about because it's so, I think many of you are in this place of figuring out, where do I want to go from here, right? And so one thing we'll talk about is using some tools and assessments to figure out what makes you happy. I think that's so important, again, to figure out what would make you happy, what environment do you want to work in. And so we'll hopefully in maybe our activities for the week talk a little bit more about that. All right, guys, I will see you next time.